everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is MJ Pinky. I'm a writer and writing consultant, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about my edit of chapter 23. My biggest issue with it was very info dumpy. It was one of those scenes where let's just throw all the characters together and have them just like talk about what's happening. And it really didn't flow well. It didn't make a lot of sense for them to just stop everything to have this conversation. Especially given that they're kind of on a time crunch and there are some important things happening. And there's also a lot of emotions that need to be happening here too. So some things have happened, and this chapter really needs to flesh out the psychology happening in these characters. They've all been through some stuff at this point. There's some permanent damage that's been done, and there's a lot of apprehension and uncertainty about the future for a lot of these characters, and they're kind of all coming together in this chapter to talk about them, share what has happened to each one of them. And the way that I had it written, there was not really any emotional response. Again, like I said, it didn't really make sense for everybody to just drop everything, lose the urgency of the moment, and just have a discussion. The emotion that I did have in it just felt very forced and unnatural to what was happening. And so I had to do a complete rewrite of this chapter from a totally different character's perspective. The main thing that I tried to do with this edit, in addition to just kind of keeping it isolated to one particular character, was to keep the sense of urgency happening in the chapter. That, hey, there's some things happening, we're on a time crunch, we have to move quickly to prevent any further damage from happening. And I also decided to rewrite it from the character whose emotional turmoil is the strongest. That I feel is the strongest for this chapter. I wanted to take this chapter to really kind of help develop his character a little bit more, delve into why he's feeling certain things, because he's kind of lashing out at some of his friends in this chapter, and he's going to continue to do that for the next several chapters. And the first draft really didn't go into any real detail why. And so I wanted to explore that from his perspective in this chapter, because this is kind of where that really starts kicking off, and when he really starts to feel that way. And so I wanted to rewrite this chapter, especially from his perspective, to give the reader a little bit more insight into his behavior that's going to happen in later chapters. So the other part that I really wanted to do was eliminate the info dump. A lot of that stuff really didn't need to be stated, and it definitely not in the way that I had done it. Just like, oh, everybody just dump all their information here at the same time. You know, as convenient as that is, it's really not, it's not good to read. You know, as a reader who has read that from other authors, and as a reader who has read it from mine, now it's not a good way to tell a story, to just dump all the information into one place just for the sake of convenience. It's much more interesting to the reader and engaging and intriguing to reveal a little bit at a time and focus really on the characters and the character development more so than the information and the backstory and catching everybody up to speed or whatever. So that's really the main issues that I had with this chapter. Again, like, I really want to focus on developing the character here, maintaining that sense of urgency, and eliminating unnecessary information and just exposition. So that's my rewrite of chapter 23. I am going to submit that to my critique group this weekend and see what they have to say about it. I will have another video on chapter 23 for you after this weekend, and we'll see what they have to say. So hopefully you have found this video interesting, and if you have, I hope you subscribe, and I will see you in a future video. Happy writing!